Hi, this is The Cross Connection, and I'm Brent Little. Love your enemies? Come on, what was Jesus thinking? We're supposed to have warm, fuzzy feelings and pleasant thoughts and affection for evil people and those who have wronged us deeply. How can we reconcile that with what seems to be our very natural tendency to feel nothing but contempt and disgust for such people? Come on, Jesus. Yes, you said a lot of great things, but don't you think that's just asking a little bit too much of us? Well, that all depends on what we mean by love. In English, we have only one word to express everything we love. I love my mom, I love God, I love my dog, I love my wife, I love ice cream, etc. But the Greeks had 4 different words for love. One for the affection we have for people and things, one for brotherly, sisterly, family-type love, another for romantic and sexual love, and yet another that could be used to express something similar to what we would call unconditional love and what the Elizabethans called charity. I'm not talking about a handout for the needy, but a genuine concern for others, a disinterested love that does not necessarily need a personal investment or connection to the object, but a love that can give without any hope of return. Jesus uses this last word, agape, when he tells us to love our enemies. This word for love does not require warm fuzzies and affection to express it. All it requires is a heart that is in tune with God's intentions. So in order for us to love our enemies, we first need to come to the understanding that it's not all about us or what others have done wrong to us. There is a much bigger picture in view. God is in the business of redemption, reconciliation, and healing, and it's focused on eradicating the moral virus of sin that has infected all of us to our very core. Now, this moral virus manifests itself in numerous ways, and some people display much more advanced signs of the deadly infection than do others, but all of us have been infected, and only one person in all the history of the world is immune. There is only one cure for the killer disease, and it lies in the blood of the only man who is untainted. That man chose to die for us through the spilling of his blood so it could be used to ultimately eradicate this deadly disease, and he offers the cure to anyone who will accept the transfusion. He even died for our enemies in an all-out effort to set them free from sin and eternal death. So when Jesus requires us to love our enemies, we don't have to worry about warm, fuzzy feelings for them. The love Jesus is talking about is a love that seeks the highest good of the other person and has nothing at all to do with how we feel about them or what they have done to us. It's all about being on board with God's agenda and not our own bitterness and vindication. And our enemy's highest good is to find redemption through the sacrifice of God's Son, Jesus the Messiah. But does it make any sense that someone else should die for my sins? After all, aren't they my sins? Yes, they are my sins, and that's why it makes all the sense in the world. We have been infected by a lethal virus, and all of the money, all of the good intentions, all of the most noble of good deeds, alms, and charity in the world will not eradicate this infection. It is only through the precious blood of God's Son Jesus that we can be rescued from this infection and be eternally cured from the disease. It is only in trusting the power or efficacy of His untainted blood that we find this healing. And again, there is only one man whose blood has not been tainted, the man Jesus Christ, who is also the unique Son of God. By trusting in what Jesus has done for us through His death on the cross and His resurrection, not only do we find the only cure available, but our enemies also can be delivered from their own sinfulness and be transformed into true children of God. Now, I've used the metaphor of a virus to help explain the problem. But I want us to understand that it is only a metaphor, because if it were a normal virus, we could argue that we have no choice in the matter. The virus made me do it. In this sense, the metaphor is limited because we do have choices and we do choose to do what is contrary to God's will for our lives, and we often choose to hurt others in order to ensure our own comfort, pleasures, and happiness. I also understand that there are times when getting to the place where we can love our enemies through seeking their highest good is a process, because we have to work through the damage they have done to us, and that takes time and a willingness to align our broken and damaged hearts with the heart of God, who is involved in the much bigger picture of offering eternal redemption to His whole creation because of that same agape love that we're expected to use with our enemies. Loving your enemies then means seeking their highest good. And that highest good is for them to discover the healing and redemption that is found only through believing on the amazing Son of God, Jesus the Christ. Until next time, I'm Brent Little, and this is The Cross Connection.